Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long 3 days, and I think everybody is tired already, tired of seeing the slides too. But before I proceed, I'd like to thank the chambers for actually giving MRDC a second opportunity to speak at the conference. We never had this opportunity before. So to speak twice, I'd like to thank the chambers. Thank you. When I was asked to speak, I looked at the presentation that was done yesterday, and I thought it'd be an easy work. I'll just go there and replay the video, and then I'll go back and sit down. But then the chambers might not give me my gift, so I'll just speak. So I think I got a very simple slide, a few short stories to tell about landowners. We have heard about the project developers. We have the state speak. Everybody has spoken about themselves. So I think it's only proper that the landowners also speak. So this is a landowner story. So everything is about landowners. And what I'll talk about is actually from the landowner's perspective. We have seen a lot of things happening. PNG is actually a brownfield in extractive industries. We have been in the industry for quite a while. We have seen mining and petroleum projects before. We have learned a lot of lessons, and this is the lesson from the landowner side and what we can do better with all the new projects that are coming up, and better for the landowners especially. So I'll be just focusing on about 3 slides or 3 or 4 key issues for us to take home. First, the issues that are currently identified that from a landowner perspective, that we see with projects and the planning and development and distribution of cash and all these things. And then the MRDC model, what we are doing to try and address those issues. And then we look at what we have been doing so far. And then we just talk about how we can actually do better in the coming projects. So the key issues from a landowner perspective, this thing is, so basically, we all know that extractive industries are actually finite. They have a timeline and a start date and a finish date. They don't go on forever. So it's very, very important that when we start and when we finish, we consider the landowners and put them in the plan when we start. That's the most important thing, because we will extract everything under the ground and we will leave, but the landowners will remain. And that's something that we need to consider. And this is something that I want to talk about going forward. The next thing that I want to talk about is if you look at all the resources that are currently being developed and currently going to be developed, they are found in very remote places in Papua New Guinea. Most of those people are actually illiterate, most are uneducated, and they have been living peacefully until we turn up. So what are we going to do about that? We go and pay them a lot of money. How do they spend that money? We need to talk about that so that we can all work together to actually become better in what we are doing right now. So in other things that I want to also talk about is the last box there, is we actually do a development plan to develop our projects. We do an environmental plan to look after the environment. We want to go in there, look at the environment, the best case study, and then when we want to leave the environment as it was or better. But why don't we do a development plan also for the landowners? Put money in there and do a baseline study on where they are now, what they will be, and when we leave, how they will be. We haven't been doing that. So I want to just talk a little bit about that based on what we have been doing. So what has MRDC been doing? So I just came up with something here. It's called an MRDC model, 40-30-30. It's a model that we have been implementing for the last number of years. And this model actually started in the oil and gas sector. So the oil and gas sector was actually written after the crisis in Bougainville. So when the landowners in Bougainville started rising up and shutting down the Bougainville mine, people started thinking, what can we do better with the landowners? And in the oil and gas sector, they said, okay, we'll just do a 40-30-30 split. So 40% of the net cash flow, we give it to the landowners as cash, so they can consume it now. And then the 30%, we put it into infrastructure projects. And then the other 30%, we invest for the future generations. So that's in the oil and gas sector. Based on that, we then developed a trust deed, because all the subsidiaries that we manage are actually trust entities. So we developed trust deed, and in the trust deeds, we also implemented the 40-30-30 split. And everything that we have been doing till now is based on this split. We go and pay 40% of our net cash flow to the landowners, 30% we do community projects, and 30% we do investments. The video that you saw yesterday is from the 30% that we have invested. So basically, based on what was there, we actually came up with our vision and our mission. So our vision right now is to be the leader in wealth creation, not only in PNG, but in the Pacific, and hopefully in the world. The second thing that we have actually developed based on our 40-30-30 is our mission. And our mission is to actually improve the quality of our beneficiaries. So whatever we do, the 40% that we go and give, we hope that that money is used to improve their quality of life. The 30% that we use to build the infrastructure, hospitals, schools, we want to improve the quality of life now and into the future. And the 30% that we invest, the dividends from that should continue to improve the quality of life for the landowners going past the life of the mines and the petroleums and every other project that we have. So what have we been doing? So this is just a case study, and we have been paying this for so many years now. And the total figure from the time we started would have been very huge, but I just put for the last 5 years. So for the last 5 years, we have actually paid 433 million kina to landowners from the 40% within the last 5 years. And that has been paid to about less than 70,000 people. 70,000. And some landowner groups actually get about 20 million a year, and they are like maybe 6,000 people. So a lot of money is actually being paid as cash to the landowners. But the question now is, how do they use that money? Is it a blessing or a curse? Is the money that is being paid used to improve their quality of life, or is wasted on something else? And this is a challenge that we face. It's a challenge that everybody should be facing. We should all be concerned about how they're using that money. And the 3 bullet points there, I want us all to work together to maybe improve the quality of financial literacy so they know how to spend that money, how to use that money to make money wisely. So, and then also to look at other things that we can do. We need to create job opportunities, or we need to create an avenue for them, a market for them, maybe develop agriculture for them. We need to do something so that that money that they get, they use that money to then improve their quality of life themselves, rather than always sitting down waiting for us. Because that, as I said, the mine is going to close one fine day. And we need to start thinking about how they will live now and in the future. And they can start with the money that we give them. But we need to start educating them how to spend that money, and we can all work together on this. The third slide is on community infrastructure, the 30% that we have been using. And this benefits current generation plus the future generation if we look after those projects that we put on the ground. And those projects, like I've just used 2018 and 2020 numbers there. We have spent about 38.3 million to build infrastructure projects. So we have built schools, hospitals, clinics, so many things there. But then there's still room for us to do better. So we can actually, before we develop a project, like I said from the beginning, we need to look at what the baseline situation is on the ground. How many hospitals do they have? What is the population? How many schools do they have? How many roads do they have? Bridges? We need to develop a plan. And then we need to work that plan into the development of the project so that when we build, we also improve the infrastructure on the ground. We need to do this as part of the project cost. If we leave it to the state, we leave it to everybody, nothing's happened. We have learned our lessons over the last how many years we have been in this industry. So now we need to try and do better. We need to pool our resources. All the project developers are doing a little bit of schools there. MRDC is doing another school there. The state is doing another school there. Why don't we all pool our resources? Why don't we all get together, have a plan, and all of us work together to develop the same thing? It's for the same people. So we need to pool our resources, and we need to collaborate. We need to work together as partners for the benefit of the landowners. Instead of rather than doing piecemeal projects, one is doing there, one is doing everywhere, it's not helping. We are there now. When we look, we got good stories from Misima and all the others. I don't have time to talk about it. You all know this, so. But we need to work together to make it better for the new projects that are coming up. That's for the 30%. What have we been doing with the other 30%? The other 30% we have actually, so there's you saw the video yesterday, we have started in 2006 with about 395 million kina. That's audited. And then the numbers in 2021 is about 6.7 billion. That's how much we have invested and grown, the 30%. And all our books are audited up until 2019, and MRDC provides the financial audits and everything to Auditor General. So we will complete the rest of the audits. But this is the number that we have done with the 30%. And that 30% is from the 2% royalty and 2% equity. That's a very small amount of money that the landowners get. And they have managed to build it up to this. But we can all do better, and we need you to support us to grow the landowners' wealth. So one thing, the landowners, as you saw, they are into all of these businesses. So the businesses that the landowners through MRDC is already on the board right now. So you can all help us. You can use the airlines that the landowners are participants. You can use the hotels that the landowners use. You can use the landowners to grow their business. Where else will they go? They need you. And then we need to also collaborate. So there are new projects that we would like to do, like the refinery, the other things that the bigger projects that landowner groups that have in mind. We need your support. We need you to help the landowners get into those sectors. We need to work together on that one. So I'll wind up right now and I'll sit down, but I want us to start thinking about all the projects that we currently have. We have to start a project with a hand in mind. You don't start the project now and then get towards the end and start thinking about what we are going to do with the environment, with the landowners, all of this. Or you go through the project and start worrying about landowners. We have to develop the projects now with the end in mind. So we start now putting together a plan as to how we will leave the landowners behind. Through my time with MRDC, I have actually seen the model, the 40-30-30 model has actually worked. We have paid the landowners, we have built the infrastructure on the ground, and we have actually invested the money and have grown it. The model works, and it can work for all of us. And we have done this alone. Now in this slide, and as we go forward and bigger projects are coming up, we can all work together, learn the lessons, and we can build a better today. And also, whatever we build now, we leave a sustainable future for the future generations that are coming up. So I want us to take this home and start thinking about it so that when we go into a project now, we don't want to leave the landowners worse off than they are today. Today, they have no landowner issues, they have no cash flow issues, they just live their lives. We just go in there with our projects, and then we just leave the project, or when the project ends, we leave them. I don't want us to leave them worse off. Let us plan now, and then let's make landowners, take them together with us, and then make landowners a better people after we leave them. With that, I wish everyone happy afternoon, and thank you.